And welcome back to Grand Central Terminal. Mike J. Laneside alongside the bowling guy and Brian Zeisig. And we have our third place matchup here at the Grand Championship. Standing by with our competitors is Extra Frames Elise Bolton. Go, Elise.
Hi. Now the ladies I'm standing with are fighting for third and fourth place here at Teen Masters. What has bowling and Teen Masters taught you? What have you learned from bowling the tournament?
It's been incredible. Definitely learned how to stay focused and really just, try and stay calm under pressure.
Basically what she said, learning to stay focused and actually because before thought I was going to be really nervous, but, I kind of got here and then I kind of learned how to relax a little bit more and then that has definitely helped me a lot, so. Yeah.
Right now, going into this match, knowing you can only finish third or fourth, what are your goals?
Definitely still try and just go out there and do my best, try and make spares and fill frames.
Same here, make my spares, and I'm gonna try to keep my spot. So,
all right, back to you.
Thanks, Elise. That's Team USA's Elise Bolton handling the sidelines ably for us here on Extra Frame, and there's our battle for third and fourth positioning as our match is about to begin. And again, it's the best of two finals, and a nice round of applause for our players as we get rolling here at Grand Central Terminal. We're in Vanderbilt Hall. And just to the left there is 42nd Street. You see folks walking through, and they all give it a look. It's a one-lane bowling assembly set up here. And we are ready for action in this best of two. Jessica Davies will lead off for us. Out of Cape Coral, Florida, class of 2014. She's a junior at Island Coast High School. And a nice start for Jessica as we welcome back Brian Zeisig. Brian, what was your initial impression when you turned the corner and saw the setup here?
It's really incredible. I was a part of. I was on tour when the PBA had their stop at the Villages. If you remember that show, they bowled outside, and I was actually able to. I had my equipment with me, and they had just finished the installation. I was actually able to throw a couple shots on the lanes down there, and after I threw a few shots and watched the show, I could understand why Pete Weber solid 9 4 times, because the dynamics of bowling in a setting like this as opposed to just a regular center is just completely different. As you watch a great conversion there of the 2-4-10 by Melanie Hannon. Easy for me to say.
Both players coming in at an 0-2 record. And in this match play format, all four competitors each bowl 3 matches. So both Davies and Hannon have been eliminated from championship consideration. So this is a battle for third and fourth place. And interestingly enough, the other two players in the girls division, the number 1 seed Ashley Dunn and the number 2 seed Haley Rubin, will meet in a match that really doesn't have implications for the championships. It's part of the round robin, but it's a preview of our upcoming girls championship match. That'll come up at noon.
You can see Jessica Davies leaving the bucket with the 7-pin on that shot, and that's another one of those leaves you're going to find on a temporary installation lane like this, where the sideboards just aren't as lively as you would see them at your local center. The flat gutters next to the 7-pin and the 10-pin, they're just a little bit deeper here. Sideboards are just a little bit, there's a little bit less spring to it. Good conversion there. It's just a leave you will see more often on a setting like this than you would at any other time during your regular league play. Talking with Joe Farley from Ebonite before, he thought it was very interesting that the girls decided, I believe it was Jessica, decided to go with the long pattern that they're bowling on right now. This is the 42-foot pattern. The higher seed in each match gets the choice of which pattern to bowl on. There's a great shot there by Melanie, leaving a solid 7. The higher seed gets to choose what pattern they'd like to bowl on. There's a 35-foot shorter pattern and a 42-foot longer pattern. And Jessica Davies in this match has decided to go with the longer pattern, even though she is throwing the Cyclone, which of the two balls that the competitors have to choose, the Cyclone is the less dynamic of the two bowling balls. Just didn't hang on there. Jessica with a 12-pin lead after two. There you see the effects of the long pattern. It's just a little bit to the right there. A lot of oil on the lanes. Ball doesn't come back. Her last two shots have gone light. Bucket with the 7 and now with the washout. There's something in between the breaks between games. I was able to go out towards the opening, and you could stand here all day and just people watch all the people walking back and forth 42nd Street into the terminal. And you see that bucket with the late kick of the 7-pin there, leaving the 2-4-5-8 for Melanie Hannon. These girls seem to be struggling a little bit with the length of the pattern. You're going to have to get their feet a little bit further right. You see another Ebonite rep, Tom Laskow, in the back there with the glasses, studying the girls' ball reaction.
Bowled on tour. Made a couple shows, if I'm not mistaken.
Is a former ABC Eagle winner. Actually is still the quote-unquote defending champion of the team event since the... Melanie chops the spare there. Since the classic division of the ABC team event was discontinued after 1980, and his was the last team to win that event in 1979. I bowl with Tom out in nationals every year. He's part of our companion team. And every time we go out there, they say that he is the defending champion of the classic division, even though there is none. That is a division, though, definitely that they should, I think they should reconsider. Shot there by Jessica.
Girls division action at the Teen Masters Grand Championships. Jessica Davies with an 0-2 record faces Melanie Hannon, also at 0-2. They have been eliminated from championship consideration. This is a battle for third place, best of 2 games match. First player to win 2 will win the point and earn third place. In the event of a tie after 2 games, we'll have a sudden death roll-off to determine our third place finisher. Coming up a little bit later, we'll have a preview of our girls' championship as Ashley Dunn and Haley Rubin will meet in the final game of the scheduled round-robin portion. Coming up next, the battle between Cameron Doyle and Jacob Edinger to help us sort the picture in the boys' championship. Earlier here, live on Extra Frame, Greg Young defeated Aaron Uradovich. Both of those players are 2-1, so there's a possibility of a 3-person roll-off for the last and only 2 spots in the boys' championship final. And that'll be decided next here live. You're watching game 1 of this 2-game matchup. 7-pin match thus far in game 1. Jessica Davies with the advantage, and now opportunity to double and increase her lead in the 5th frame. We're bowling on a 1-lane install here at Vanderbilt Hall. right inside Grand Central Terminal in New York City. Proud to bring it to you as the PBA and Team Masters have teamed up for the second year in a row here. Talking with Gary Beck earlier, he said he sees this event here in this venue, his Grand Championships, for many years to come.
Oh, it's a fantastic spot. The exposure you get just from the people walking behind the pairs, and you know, for the most part, you see anywhere between 20 and 30% of those people. They stop, they watch, they look for a little bit, and then they get along through their day. This is a little bit early for the lunch crowd, but once 11, 12 o'clock rolls around, you're going to see a lot more people packing in back there, wanting to see what's going on. It's just a perfect spot to have this one lane. And as you mentioned before, Mike J., the ambiance here with the chandeliers and the marble walls and everything is just, it's incredible.
So lots of things to manage: the ambience, the echo, the crowd walking by, some occasional flash photography. For the most part, though, the competitors are amazing. They just focus, go about their business. Every once in a while, there'll be a reset, but for the most part, it's just full steam ahead.
Every time there seems to have been a reset the last couple of days, it's based on stuff that's going on outside of the terminal, not so much what's going on inside. So there's really not much you can do to control the stuff that goes on outside. You know, Gary Beck and his staff here have done a great job as controlling as much as they can with what's going on inside the terminal.
And there is the terminal. Live shot. Just next door, the main terminal.
Yeah, that's the main ticket area with the big gold clock that everybody knows so well. And 750,000 people a day move in and out of this facility, over 21 million a year. The largest train station in the world here in the heart of Midtown Manhattan, right on 42nd Street and Park Avenue. And that's where Brian Zizek will be exiting a little bit later.
That's correct. It's not such a bad walk from here to Penn Station either. It's especially in the summertime in New York City. There's nothing quite like it. And then later on when we're leaving tonight with the city all lit up and everything else, it's really fantastic. Even though I don't live all that far away, it's a short train ride. I get into the city a couple times a year for, you know, Ranger games, stuff like that at the Garden, which in and of itself is an event. And, but I don't get into the city as much as I probably should, considering it's as close as it is.
Oh, it's an amazing place, and for a lot of these competitors, it's their first time ever to New York City, and just an amazing experience for anyone. Your first visit to this incredible metropolis.
Well, I'm sure Aaron has a Manhattan in Kansas. I mean, I'm sure it's exactly the same, right?
The bagels are slightly less good.
I would think the pizza would be too. The bucket for Melanie here, and she seems to be struggling a little bit with this longer pattern.
Hey, big thanks to Peter DeRosa watching today. He just tweeted, definitely getting my money's worth on Extra Frame, watching some great youth bowling. Peter, thanks for the note. Thanks for your support of the online bowling channel. And if anyone else has a comment, that's what that hashtag's all about. Top right, hashtag Team Masters. Open frame.
Second time she's shot that spare this game.
I'm sure she doesn't want to shoot it anymore either.
No.
It's been a lot of tough spares to shoot at this match so far.
Yeah, there's only been 4 counts of 9 or higher, which means multiple spare combinations, multiple pin spare combinations, and especially on the patterns that they're bowling on, that just, you know, leaves you in a lot of trouble. That was a good shot there by Jessica. She has I was watching her last delivery there. I mean, it looks like she looks almost directly down at the foul line when she releases the ball. Her eyes are as close as I've ever seen. I don't know if that's maybe a camera angle thing. Maybe she's looking at the first set of dots, but man, it really does look like she looks pretty short. And that's also a product of the longer pattern. If you can't get your ball to start up soon enough, one of the things a lot of the guys do on tour and something else is they bring their eyes a little bit closer to them. What it gives them is a little bit quicker release, gets the ball into the lane a little bit sooner, and gets it to start up on these longer patterns.
Yeah, when I grew up bowling juniors in Southern California, I tended to look at the dots that are a couple feet out on the lane, and then when I started bowling, more high-level competition where the lanes start to hook, I had to learn how to look a little bit further down lane, and then eventually when I was bowling PBA stuff, I was looking at the reflections of the pins at sometimes late blocks.
Sure. Especially, by the way, that's back-to-back chops of the 2-4-5. Her ball just has a magnet to hit that pin straight on. It's unbelievable. But yeah, back when we were bowling, especially regionals back then, they only oiled the one time in the morning, and you bowled, 5-game blocks, and then you came back 2 squads.
Right.
I mean, you were bowling games 16 through 20 on one pass of the lanes. And some of these regionals, if you had the bigger regionals, they had 4 and 5 on a pair. It just, the lanes were really, really cooking at that point.
Yeah, my best finish in a regional that I bowled, we had a tournament at the Showboat, and there were about 400 entries. And we bowled 16 games. We bowled 8 games each day for qualifying, so 16 total. There were 2 squads. And Showboat was a pretty big place,
106 lanes.
106 lanes.
70 on the one side, and then you had to walk through the sports book to get to the other 36 on the other side.
Yeah, so they hooked quite a bit those last 4 games.
Yeah, the last tournament I bowled, the last Showboat Invitational I bowled when it was there, and that was the long format as well. That was the 56-game format back in the day. Used to bowl, 8, 8, and 8, and then they would cut to the cashers. You'd bowl 8 Thursday morning, and then the top 24 would bowl 8 Thursday night, 8 Friday morning, 8 Friday night. 56 games in 5 days. Anyone who wants to tell me that bowling isn't a sport, try doing that, and then going back the next week and do it all again. Better shot there for Melanie. She can't chop this one.
Yeah, that's been kind of the struggle for the girls on this specially constructed lane. A lot of times when they hit the pocket, the ball's leaving flat 10s because the pins aren't bouncing off the sideboards, and it makes it tough to score. Really, 190 is a good score out there. Yeah,
in our last match, that 235 by Greg Young. You put that in a regular center with shallower flat gutters and lively kickbacks and sideboards. You're probably looking at a 279, 280 game there instead of the 235 that he bowled.
Opening game, best of 2 finals here. Last matchup for Davies and Hannon. This is a battle for 3rd place. They've both been eliminated from championship consideration. But a battle for 3rd place here. Team Masters Grand Championships, best of 2. Two games is a winner. If a 1-1 split occurs, we'll have a sudden death roll-off for 3rd place. Yeah. Late on the 10. Strike for Jessica Davies. You're listening to Mike J. Laneside with the bowling guy Jason Thomas. Also joining us today, PBA Tour champion Brian Zizek.
I know a little bit about leaning a 10 like that.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yes. And people standing in front of the camera blocking the...
It is amazing how many Facebook posts and how many people texted me saying, I can't believe your head got in the way of the 10 pin there.
Yeah, that's surprising.
And I kept telling it really wasn't me, I swear. I know I have a big head, but...
It's not that big.
It's not that big, exactly. There's another good shot there.
Ladies starting to light it up now. A couple strikes in the 9th. Hannon trails by 21 here in game 1. Davies in control and can shut out now.
Needs to fill 20 in the 10th. any way possible. Spare strike or the first one. And gets her a win in this match.
Yeah, and that shows the scoreboard here shows the importance of making your spares. You know, Melanie, she's chopped the 2-4-5 twice, which isn't an easy spare, but it's makeable. It's not a split. And she missed a single pin, and if she'd made all those three, she'd be up in the match.
Yes. That's a great shot right there. Great shot there by Jessica to put the hammer down. Lock this match up. Let's make sure you hit the head pin here.
Hey, little Dave Schroeder joining the program today electronically. Would like to pass on a big hello to you, Mr. Zeizig.
Oh, boy. That's it, huh? That's all he had to say?
That's all he had to say. Send my regards. So Holden Caulfield would be very happy with that message.
I like Dave. He was he's been the PR guy for the PBA for how long now? I mean, he was out on tour every week when I was back out on tour in the late 90s.
He does say, "Tell the head I say hello."
That sounds about right.
And I hope someone out there got the Catcher in the Rye reference. All right. Davies is going to take game one in this best-of-2 matchup to determine third place. Teen Masters Grand Championships. Coming up next, we have our boys battle at approximately 11 a.m. Eastern. Number 1 seed Cameron Doyle is 0-2, and he takes on Jacob Ettinger at 1-1. And the only role Doyle can play is spoiler. If he beats Ettinger, they are both eliminated, and then we'd have Young and Uratovich meet in the boys' championship. If Ettinger beats Doyle, we have a 3-way tie at 2-1, and we'd have a 3-bowler roll-off for the championship match. So we may have a bout of bonus bowling for you today at Grand Central Terminal. Things are starting to fill up. Just approaching 11 a.m. here Eastern time as the lunch crowd will start to pour through here. And we're glad you're with us on the online bowling channel today. Plenty of bowling action coming up in August. We will be in Decatur, Illinois next weekend for coverage of the final PBA Senior Tour stop of the season, the PBA Senior Decatur Open, and then at the end of August, the very first Silverado National in Reno at the National Bowling Stadium. Melanie Hannon finishing up, Brian, but always the importance, if you're out of the match, to use the time that you have to try to figure something out for the next game.
Yeah, she looks like she's a little more relaxed now. You know, it can get you down a little bit. The 3 chop spares in the first 7 frames there after making the 2-4-10 in the first frame with a really good spare conversion there. And then just looks like her swing's a little bit looser now. Looks like she's got a line to the pocket. Last 3 shots have been real good. Good shot there. Seems she's moved her feet a little bit right, moved everything actually a little bit right, and is just trying to stay more aggressive through the bottom part of her swing. Gets it through the front lanes a little bit easier, stores up a lot more energy. And now that ball looks like it's making the corner as opposed to the frames, 6, 7, 8, 6 and 7, where it just didn't quite turn and she was leaving the 2-4-5.
Jessica Davies has defeated Melanie Hannon by a final score of 180 to 159. We'll proceed to game number 2. In the event of a 1-1 tie, there will be a sudden death roll-off for third place. Ladies, roll on.
There's a little bit of confusion right now.
Game 2 underway. Jessica Davies begins. 1-game lead and a 7-pin. Up 1 game, trying to close things out, and her Teen Masters Grand Championships on a high note. This is the battle for 3rd place. Our girls' championship match has already been set. Ashley Dunn and Haley Rubin will meet in our final girls' round-robin competition, and then the rematch will take place in the girls' championship at 3:30 Eastern. So a miscue from Davies out of the gate here, missed single pin.
Yeah, we watched Melanie miss a 7-pin also, same spot, left gutter. Looks like they're not picking up how much their plastic ball is actually hooking down the lane in front of the 7-pin.
Yeah, and that's something we saw a lot of yesterday, with the back ends being so fresh. Even on the long pattern, once it hits that dry part of the lane, it really hooks.
That's 5 good shots in a row there for Melanie. She's got to stay with what she's doing right now. Keep plugging away, keep hitting the 1-3. And most importantly, when she leaves anything, to pick it up. I don't know if you guys have mentioned how close you guys really are to the pin deck, how close we are to the pin deck here. It is literally right behind our station here in Grand Central Terminal. And the acoustics of these marble walls, it gets pretty loud back here, especially when the boys are up there throwing the ball, 17, 18, 19 miles an hour. It makes a pretty loud noise. Or when you hear dead flush shots like that.
That made a pretty loud noise.
That's a pretty sweet noise for Jessica Davies. She won game 1, 180-159. Looking to close things out. Melanie Hannon would like to win this game and force a sudden death roll-off, and then it'd be 1 ball for 3rd place. Glad you're with us. We're at Grand Central Terminal. See those windows? That's 42nd Street, Midtown Manhattan, New York, New York. Just behind and to the right is Grand Central Terminal and the ticket office for the largest train station in the world. Game 2, 2nd frame for Melanie Hannon.
Just a little bit high there. May have gotten a little frustrated. Left 3 or 4 flat 10s in a row of the last 5 shots.
Melanie is a senior at Maryvale High School in Cheektowaga, New York, as we look at the live shot next door in the main ticketing area here at Grand Central Terminal. And we're not kidding. We are right in the train station. Vanderbilt Hall is adjacent. So Davies up a game. And on the missed spare, trailing here by 9 pins, but now can claim the lead back. Has a strike in the 2nd, can double, and take a lead here early in game number 2.
A little high there. Both girls seem to be playing the same part of the lane. We might be looking at a little bit of a breaking down effect right there on Jessica's ball. Looked like she threw that one pretty good. Went high, left the 3-6. Melanie's last shot too looked like she threw it pretty good. Went a little high, left the 4-7. So see what kind of adjustments the girls are going to make as Jessica makes a spare to keep Melanie's lead at 9 pins.
You know, that's the thing that's so impressive about the pros, Brian, is that even on conditions that are this difficult, they get so dialed in with their shot making and execution that even when the lanes start to hook a little bit, they immediately know when to move. And the tube that they make is very small, but they can make the lanes look easy when they're not that easy at all.
Yeah, one of the questions that you get a lot, another great shot there from Melanie. One of the questions I get a lot is, you know, what's the difference between the top caliber pros out there and then the next level of guys that are down there? And I mean, for me, the biggest thing for the difference between a guy like, you know, Pete Weber and Jason Belmonte and those guys is they know they're throwing 95 to 99% of their shots are good shots. And when you're throwing good shots and you can see what the ball's going to do when the lanes break down, they are sometimes a move or 2 moves ahead of someone who may only be throwing good shots 85% of the time. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you have that one shot where, you know, you big 4 in between a double and another strike, and they're making the adjustment, and they got a 4-bagger, that's 38 pins. I mean, and that's the biggest difference that you see between the guys at that elite level and then the guys that are at that next tier down. Good concentration there on Jessica. It's about her 3rd step. Something banged in the background. It's a good cover. Melanie can take a 20-pin lead here with a strike in the 4th.
See the people moving into the stands.
Well, we're just about hitting, you know, that 11 to 1 o'clock lunch hour. 11 to 2, we'll have even more people, I'm sure, milling about. This has been Melanie's bugaboo so far in this match. Any 2-4-5 combination, this time with the 7.
There is a grand look at Grand Central Terminal for these Grand Championships here at the Teen Masters. Side-by-side bleachers all the way down the 1-lane assembly, the great banners and video screen.
It's a good cover there. There's something we've been seeing all day today, and you saw it a lot yesterday. Flash bulbs going off in the background, people just walking by, tourists walking by, just to see what's going on. And I mean, this is not something you see every day, a lane in the middle of a railroad station.
Battle for 3rd place here. Jessica Davies has a game up. Melanie Hannon would like to try to even things up and force a sudden death Rolloff for 3rd place. 10-pin stands.
Yeah, you know, Mike, where does Gary Beck come up with these ideas? You know, he's done some of the coolest things in the sport of bowling, and I wanted to sit here and ask him the question: how did you come up with the idea to do a bowling tournament here in Grand Central Terminal? Because it's such a grand idea, and it's been pulled off so well, and it's gotten so much attention in the media. And
I don't know if I'm qualified to probe the mind of Gary Beck. He's done some of the most innovative programming, and I guess the old saying comes into play: if you can dream it, you know, you can make it happen. And That's why we're here. Second year in a row that we're able to bring it to you live on Extra Frame. And Gary's already thinking about future years and having this event here in multiple years. And of course, being able to add other things and more entertainment elements for people stopping by and sponsors to be able to participate. So it keeps growing. And the fact that we can bring it to you live on the online bowling channel is another in an increasing amount of events that we've had. We just came off a couple of tournament swing where we did some mixed doubles tournaments in Houston at the Lucy Bonneau Memorial and in Las Vegas at the Ebonite South Point mixed doubles. Those events are all available for you in your Extra Frame on demand viewing window. If you haven't seen those events, it's all new programming.
I watched some of that Lucy Bonneau Memorial. That may as well have been a tour stop.
Yeah,
With so many big names down there.
Great field out in Houston. And here comes Melanie. Davies doubled to take the lead here in game 2, but Hannon now putting in a position to take the lead back. Jessica trying to close things out, earn third place in this last matchup for both Davies and Hannon. Third place will be decided, and these girls will be done following this match.
One of the things you'll notice about the long pattern, especially the way the girls break them down, is, compared to the higher rev guys that bowled in the first match, you'll see the ladies, they break them down a lot more right to left. They start further right, as you see a great shot there by Jessica. They start further right, which makes the adjustments a lot easier for them to make as they break down. And as you've seen now, we're in the middle of game 2, and both ladies have what looks like a very good shot on the lanes right now. Whereas in the last match, you saw, Aaron struggled a little bit because they're both playing them a little bit different. Greg seemed to be much deeper than Aaron, especially towards the end. And when you're breaking them down in different directions, it can get a little bit confusing, especially the adjustments that you have to make game to game. Whereas the ladies seem to be in the same spot of the lane, the adjustments tend to be a lot easier. And you can see now, I mean, they're just pasting the pocket every shot.
So Hannon doubles back. She trails by just one pin. Melanie trails by a game. Jessica Davies stepping up now on a turkey, trying to close it out right here and earn third place. Team Masters Grand Championships action coming up next in the boys division. It's the monumental battle between top seed Cameron Doyle, who's 0-2. Jacob Ettinger is 1-1. Ettinger needs to win that match to get into a 3-bowler roll-off for the top 2 spots for the boys championship. That'll come up next here live on your online bowling channel.
That's a good shot there. Good shot there, but you see those deeper flat gutters, not quite as lively sideboards. Leaves more of a flat 10.
And you can see every time we go back to that shot, there's new people that are stopping by to check out the action here at Grand Central. And of course, everyone's got their cameras out, record something fun they saw in their day. And I'm sure they're posting those pictures all over the internet and maybe even on the tweeter.
It's good cover there, even match. Now he can take a 10-pin lead with a strike here.
In fact, if you're on the tweeter today, you see that hashtag, it's Team Masters. Got a question for Brian or for the bowling guy, let us know. Hashtag your comments at Team Masters and hashtag it away.
But the tweeter? How do we spell that? The
tweeter.
Oh,
yeah, it's twitter.com, but a couple folks refer to it as the tweeter, so I'm up with the vernacular, or down with it, or whichever way.
That looked like a very aggressive shot from Melanie. You saw her explode through her follow through there.
I think there was a great clip recently of Vince Scully reading some copy about the LA Dodgers Twitter site, and he mentioned the tweeter, and
I think he said people were twitting.
Twitting.
He twitted.
Yes. Just funny to have that as a part of the verbiage now. I mean, that didn't exist not too long ago. And now you see, these hashtags everywhere, and everybody knows, oh, that's how I get information on this
Texting, what's that?
Interesting.
Did you guys hear that
Service.
YouTube and Facebook and Twitter are all going to combine?
Oh my
There's
God.
going to be a new site called UTwitface.
I hope it works on my mobile device, because I was on the verge of spiking my mobile device earlier today. Technology. It's nice when it works. Jessica Davies up a game here trying to close things out. But Melanie Hannon has thrown a turkey her way.
It's like Jason Thomas said before, the difference between last game for Melanie and this game is you notice no opens. She has her triple, she's thrown her triple, but last game that would have only gotten her 170 because of the open frames. She made all four of her spares in the first 5 frames. Now she's put together 3 in a row. Strike here, she can put her up by 21 going into the 10th.
And how about a little poetic justice, little comeback for Melanie, and let's have the excitement of a single ball roll-off for 3rd place.
Absolutely.
First things first, 9th frame for Hannon, trying to extend this match into a sudden death roll-off.
Another really, really good aggressive shot there from Melanie.
Hambone, very pretty shot. So best Davies can do now is 216. Fill it up and see what happens.
Has to double here. .47 there. Best Jessica can do is 204. Melanie just got to keep it on the lane to beat 204. We're going to have a 1-ball roll-off here for 3rd place in the girls division.
As we mentioned, the championship match has been decided, but the final round robin match will take place at noon between Ashley Dunn and Haley Rubin. A warm-up for the championship match coming up at 3:30 Eastern Time. So one more ball for Davies.
And she's the higher seed, right? So she gets the option of going first in the roll-off.
That is correct. So in the back of her mind, she's thinking about roll-off. What's your position? We talked about it quite a bit yesterday. Do you like to lead them off? Do you like to go second?
The only roll-off I've been a part of, I didn't have much of a choice, but I think you always want to go first. You always want to be able to put the pressure on your opponent.
Yeah, that was one of the most memorable roll-offs in PBA history. I know I'll never forget it. Melanie went up and left that ridiculous stone 7-pin. And
I don't think the head pin landed yet. I
Yeah,
really don't
right.
think that's how high the head pin went over the 7. I don't think it's come down yet.
Still boomeranging somewhere. Now Melanie Hannon must get ahead of 204 to force a roll-off for 3rd place. She's packed the pocket the last 4, 10th frame. Calmly rips a shot with the fire engine rolling by on 42nd Street. That should be enough.
Yeah, 214 if she doesn't convert here. Nice to see the girls get a good game in before they take their leave of us here.
Roll off here. Thanks.
That's kind of cool, even though they're not going to win, to be able to say, hey, yeah, I shot a 226 game in Grand Central Terminal.
Central Station, isn't that nice?
And you can watch it by subscribing to Extra Frame for eternity.
As long as the power holds out.
It's better than being on TV in a way, because a TV show, you know, it can disappear if somebody doesn't archive it on YouTube. Whereas Extra Frame is forever.
Ooh, that's a new tagline for us. 225 for Melanie Hannon, and we've got a roll-off for third place in the girls division Teen Masters Grand Championships as tournament director Gary Beck will supervise the roll-off.
Ladies and gentlemen, with Melanie's victory, that gives us a 1-1 tie. We now move to sudden death. These will be one-ball roll-offs. The bowler to win will finish third. The opponent will be fourth. Ultimately, this comes down to $1,000 shots in terms of college scholarships. Jessica is the higher seed and will have the choice of going first or second. But we have a tie match, and we are now moving to sudden death.
Thank you, tournament founder and director Gary Beck. And Jessica pointed at herself, I believe, says, I'm going first, so this is it. Imagine that. You're a high school kid, you're competing for scholarships, you got one ball for $1,000 difference.
In the middle of Grand Central Station in New York City, the biggest city in the world.
That's about 2 semesters worth of books, Mike J, by my math.
Or 1 week of vittles for someone like me. But here we go. Roll off for third place. Teen Masters Grand Championships. Jessica Davies to lead off.
Good shot there. Good shot there. 9's not a bad count on this.
So Melanie Hannon lost game 1, recovered to shoot 225 clean in game number 2. Now hammer in hand with a strike, she can claim third place at the Teen Masters Grand Championships. 9 and the roll-off continues. 8 or less and Jessica Davies finishes third place. And Jessica Davies finishes in third place. It's a ball in hand, and Melanie couldn't get the job done. She finishes fourth. Jessica finishes third.
Hello. All right, that wraps up our girls' third and fourth place. Our next match will have our number 1 seed Cameron Doyle versus our number 2 seed Jacob Ettinger, and that match will start in approximately 10 minutes. If you'd like to join us in the seats, admission is free, but again, our next match will start in only 10 minutes. Thank you.
So there we have it, and Elise Bolton will move into position, and we'll have a moment with Jessica Davies before we'll take a short break.
And that thing is, that's where you see the strategy for the one ball roll off come to effect. Jessica got up there, made a good shot, got 9, puts all the pressure on Melanie to throw a good shot, and it's one of those things where you don't want to be too aggressive and go bucket. She ends up not being aggressive enough, going a little bit high, only getting 8, and Jessica wins the roll off.
So Elise is going to get us an interview before we take a quick break. A reminder coming up next here on your online bowling channel. A very important match. Number 1 seed Cameron Doyle will take on the number 2 seed Jacob Ettinger. And if Ettinger wins, we have a three-way roll-off for 2 spots in the boys' championship. If Doyle wins, he knocks out Ettinger from championship consideration. And now let's throw it down lane side. And extra frames, Elise Bolton.
I'm here with Melanie. She is now officially the 4th best youth bowler in the country for girls. What do you hope to take home from this experience bowling in Teen Masters?
Definitely just learning everything I can, how to handle situations and trying to figure out where to play and everything like that.
If there was one thing you could go back and do here bowling in Vanderbilt, what would you do?
Probably would have struck on the last shot. But it was a great experience.
Great. Well, congratulations to the 4th best girl bowler in the country.
Thanks, Elise, and congratulations to Melanie Hannon, 4th place finish here at the Grand Championships. Also, congratulations to Jessica Davies, 3rd place winner. And the lanes are now being reconditioned for our next match. Cameron Doyle against Jacob Ettinger, best of 2 in preliminary round competition. For Brian Zeisig and the bowling guy Jason Thomas, this is Mike J. Laneside. Big thanks to Elise Bolton from Team USA for handling the sideline. We invite you back in about 10 minutes for continuing coverage of the Teen Masters Grand Championships from Grand Central Terminal in the Big Apple.